Well, ladies and gentlemen and everything in between, welcome to D- Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm John.
And I'm Chelsea.
And I hope you all did your homework, because today we're discussing Prayer of the Rollerboys. I have two release dates, which is weird. I looked, depending on where I looked up, one place said it was released around like November of 1990, but then a bunch of other places said like the end of 91. I don't know. It's a lot of weirdness with this one. It's got a whopping 5.6 on IMDb. The IMDb description of this movie, for anyone who didn't do their homework, so in a dystopian near-future America, a young man infiltrates a powerful drug-dealing, rollerblading youth gang that runs his town That runs his town in order to end their reign for good. Yeah, so that's what that is. We got Corey Haim and Patricia Arquette and Christopher Collett, which I recognize right away from Sleepaway Camp, which you did not. And I don't think you've seen the Sleepaway Camp.
I don't know what I know what Sleepaway Camp is, but
definitely should
I've
watch
never
it.
seen
It's worth a watch.
Did not know I had a huge crush on Patricia Arquette. Wow, she is looking fine. The first note I actually had was roller babe. Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, she wrote to me in pretty quick.
Well, her outfits in this movie are iconic.
Should I say Day of the Roped me in?
Movie. Yes, we'll get into yeah. We want to talk about her outfits, because every time she's on the screen, you're like,
yeah.
I want that. I have that.
Well, I have half of it. The first moment that you see her where she's wearing that leopard print getup with the red sunglasses, I was like, I own this outfit. The wardrobe choices for her were amazing. I really don't understand what the entire cowgirl sheriff thing was going on, but
yeah,
honestly, that's one of my favorite outfits I've ever seen in a movie for no particular reason. So for me personally, that's something that I would wear on the street, but it was nice to see that represented by a character in a movie.
Well, I like that that's the outfit she just chose to wear for the day, because I don't know why you would do that. Yeah. And two, that's the outfit she chose to, spoilers for those who didn't watch, is where she outs herself as being an undercover cop. Like, that's what she wanted.
Well, she has a sheriff's badge on her hat.
Oh, and that should have been the giveaway.
At the cowboy hat, hidden in plain sight.
It's not real though.
It's not a real one.
She's trying to throw them off the trail with that.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking stupid.
And she did. No one had a clue until she rolled up. What else did I want to get into? Let's go ahead and get into Day of the Rope, I guess. It's just the main...
Day of the Rope, I thought, was the strongest meme I've seen for an 80s film. Or 90s, I guess. I was, like, very impressed. When I saw the graffiti, I was like, damn, that's a nice motto they got going there.
Not so positive of a meme, though. So the Day of the Rope, which you don't find out till the end. They mentioned it constantly throughout the movie. But Corey Haim's character even thinks he knows what it is at a certain point. So it's like, oh, it's the day they're going to hang all their enemies, which is already bad enough as it is. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's just a thing. But yeah, then you find out that the drugs that this rollerblading youth gang are dealing actually make you sterile.
Yeah, I thought the whole movie, I was like, oh, it's a cult. They're going to hang themselves for the main guy. What's his name? They say his name.
Gary Lee.
What is
Every time anybody talks to him, oh, hey, Gary Lee. Yeah. Oh, Gary Lee. Nice to see you, Gary Lee. Gary Lee, what's up, man? I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, we get it. But I still didn't remember. That's a fucking forgettable.
Curly hair guy.
Yeah, exactly. He was the curly mullet.
Weird curly mullet.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of thought that at some point it was going to tie in, no pun intended, to the entire fact. And I know they addressed this later on in the film. We talked about this where, certain people's parents are no longer with them, but there is an absence of parental anything presence in the entire movie.
Just adults is like in a general rule.
I thought maybe there was some kind of tie-in with that, like they were going to use it to exterminate the older population or something, and then it didn't explain any of that. And I guess everybody else's parents just died of mysterious circumstances or homelessness or being in the camps or whatever.
I think the only person over 30 was Speedbag.
Speedbagger, yeah.
Which was the best
character.
And there's Speedbagger, there's the cops, and then Pinky.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
That's pretty much it. Anytime anyone else is out and about rollerblading around California, you don't see a single adult.
I wanted more Pinky in the movie.
I thought he was a great character.
Him and the kids' relationship, I thought was fantastic.
Oh, the little one?
Yeah. I can't remember the kid's name.
I don't remember
his name's Milty, but I was calling him Melty because I thought it was funny. But
yeah, more like Milfy. Oh my god,
I hated that kid.
I hate that kid so much too. If there were any like actual sentimental or memorable moments of acting or writing in this movie at all whatsoever, they were completely destroyed as soon as that kid started talking. Like there could be the most emotional scene, like where Speedbag is in the hospital And then that fucking kid opens his mouth, and I'm like, oh, nope, never mind. I can't.
Speedbagger made a great recovery, by the way. After being in the he was hospitalized and bedridden
for some period of time. We don't know.
Days, because it was like the what's it? Whoever was following Corey Haim around in the movie that had this thing out for him.
The really, really angry guy. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. The guy who was like terrifyingly convincing, where I was convinced.
Bullwinkle.
Yeah, Bullwinkle. Yes, the dumbest nickname you can have for like a tough guy.
I don't even get it. What is?
I don't either. They don't reference it.
The first time they said it, I thought there had to be a Rocky. Like there had to be somebody else, but no.
Yeah, there was just nothing. But yeah, he followed him the day after to the Patricia Arquette's place.
Yes.
And then he got shot. So then it was maximum 2 days after Corey Haim got the shift at the
cooking facility.
facility. So the Speedbagger got well within like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah,
like, there was no.
After having conservatively like 15 to 20 rollerbladers beat the dog shit out of him with a bag over his head.
Yeah.
To the point where he was like,
that was a shocking scene for me. I'm not even gonna lie, for real.
As soon as they hit him, I was like, "That's Speedbagger."
I didn't know. Well, you've seen it before, but I didn't know.
Yeah, I've seen this too many times.
Tell him what my face looked like when they ripped this off. I literally went
because they did. See, this is what gave it away for me. They dubbed his voice in.
When he got
getting hit.
No.
So I was like, it was like, oh, and then they showed his hand, which was the only black character in the
entire
film.
movie.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, it's for sure him. And then
I guess I just thought it would be too fucked up for them to actually do that.
Well, I think they tried to make it like it was supposed to be a very serious movie. Despite the fact that let's see, it was written by W. Peter Iliff, who wrote Varsity Blues,
which I still haven't seen,
and Point Break,
which I also still haven't seen.
The director also. I don't remember. There was nothing memorable that the director did besides this movie, which you could argue this wasn't very memorable either. But the director also helped W. Peter Iliff with the story for Point Break as well. That's pretty much their only claim to fame. But I had this written down. I read that the writer described this movie as follows: "Quote, A Clockwork Orange meets Blade Runner via Lord of the Flies."
Okay. No. What? Who described it as that? Sorry?
A delusional person might,
the writer of this movie,
might want to pitch it that way, but no. I don't think it was.
Maybe that's how he
quite
wrote
up to
it.
that standard.
But
that's what it was like in his mind.
Yeah. That's what he was thinking when he wrote it.
I can't even believe that you could be that egotistical that a rollerblading doomsday fucking cult movie is relatable to those movies.
Yeah, because it did seem more culty than gangy, especially the initiation.
Super white supremacist cult vibe going on from like 10 minutes into the movie. Mm-hmm. Also, there's no reason that what was the guy's name?
Bullwinkle.
Bullwinkle?
Yes.
No reason he had to drop an N-bomb in the movie. But they
we wound that because we weren't sure if he actually said it.
I wasn't sure if he said it either because like the racism I think is supposed to be kind of like a point that just develops throughout the movie, but if you pay attention to, like, you have to pay attention to every sentence in this movie because nothing gets explained except for like here and there. But if you really pay attention, there's just like they just sprinkle in one random comment, like the kid makes like a Polish joke at one point, and then but then toward the end he just drops a hard N-bomb.
Yeah, I was just like, all right, pal.
Hey.
What the?
It's like, yep.
And then they shot him, so I guess it was okay.
So
that guy was inherently evil. You could see it.
Oh, you know what?
He's such a we were talking about how good of an actor he was. Yeah.
Yes. Again, he was like terrifyingly convincing that I thought he was probably also. They probably just saw him skating around L.A. just yelling racial slurs at people, and they're like, I need that guy for this movie.
Yeah, for sure.
But also, real quick, I just remembered, maybe, I hope it's not too racist of us, there was a second black guy in the movie. It was the other cop.
Oh yeah.
Which we completely forgot about. Those two characters
the
are like...
crooked guy.
Yeah, the crooked cop.
The most forgettable duo of all time.
Which I'm
when
not sure...
they're betting on whether Corey Haim's going to get laid with the cop.
Yeah.
So creepy.
What?
It's weird as shit.
I don't even want to get into that scene. That scene is honestly one of the most uncomfortable things I've ever watched.
All right, Patricia, first, How old was Corey Haim in
That's
this movie?
exactly what I was gonna get into because he looks like he's 15 or something.
Yeah, I thought maybe 17.
And she's got to be at least 20 or 21. You would think, right?
Maybe.
I'm not saying she looks old. She looks fantastic.
She was a
but
woman.
But the character was like it was supposed to. I assume be teenagers.
It was so uncomfortable for me to watch, and then them like betting on it in the van or whatever.
Yeah, they're staked out in a van, listening in because I guess they bugged her apartment. Which again, an apartment that looked like a hotel room that somebody just like decorated with their own shit.
Yeah, I don't.
And then of course one can argue like, oh well, they didn't actually do anything. It was close enough, and it was very very weird. And then I don't want to spoil anything, but at the end of the movie, I'm pretty sure they did. So like,
oh, they fucked for sure because he had flipped over at the
So I found that very strange.
Yeah,
but the ages in this movie don't make any sense.
None, because
that melty kid is definitely
first of all, I didn't realize till like they mentioned like when Corey Haim was talking to Corey Haim, whose character by the way, his name is Griffin Ramrod.
Sick.
Which is what you have to look at. That's why he
called him Ramrod because of his name.
Yeah, I had to tell her that too.
I was like, oh, Ramrod.
Because they never say his
fucking
Ramrod and Bullwinkle.
That was a diss. It's like, hey, fucking Ramrod. But like, no, if you have to watch the credits and it says Griffin Ramrod, but it's like no one ever calls him Griffin Ramrod. People call him Griffin, and then one guy calls him Ramrod, and they make no correlation that's his name.
Do they ever actually say that his last name is that, or is that just
in the credits? You have to look
in the credits.
Yeah, in the credits.
So that might not actually be his last name. It might just still be a.
Well, it's the character's name in the credits, so yes.
Okay, sure, that's his last name.
But also, but to be fair, I didn't look. I never looked at the credits to see if it's Milton or Milty Ramrod. I didn't look at that, so I don't know. Ramrod
it's literally probably just Milty. He doesn't deserve a second name.
He doesn't. But
it's just melty.
Yeah,
melty cheese.
But finishing that with the ages, it's like Corey Haim tells the cop, just the only time you find out how old Milty is, and he's like, he's a 13-year-old kid. I'm like, wait, that kid is not 13.
Way.
That kid's not fucking 13. Because one of my notes in here is just, this is the horniest 10-year-old I've fucking ever met.
Yeah,
like
seriously.
That scene where they're all in that like. I don't even know what to call it.
I think it was supposed to be a birthday party. I think it was supposed to be a birthday
where
party
he's on that kiddie pool, and it goes into that
Gary Lee
fucking inflatable pool with those.
He's like,
and he's on the kiddie slide. He looks like he's meant to be on that slide. Like he looks like he's the appropriate age for that slide. So I don't buy that he's 13.
No, I never did once in the whole movie.
I also wanted to get into synchronized rollerblading. Very cool.
Okay, so
what?
So we were talking about this as we were watching it, and he's like, I guess they really thought rollerblading was going to take off. And
because this is supposed to be like a near future. So like,
right, but this was also in 1991-ish.
Yeah.
So, and then I said, well, it did. I mean, okay, so I'm from Florida. Let's remember that. But I said, I think it did take off. I think it was kind of cool. And he goes, when was the last moment that you can remember seeing somebody on rollerblades? And I said, I don't know, like 200005. And he lost his fucking mind.
1991 is the last time I saw someone on rollerblades, and I was born in 97. There's no fucking way.
Yeah, no, I can't for the life of me remember past like 94, 95 seeing anybody on rollerblades.
I swear to God it was about to come back again last year. I know you guys are going to think I'm making that up, but I knew several people that bought.
No, I don't think you're making it up. I know you're making it up.
I'm not. I swear. I swear. I think
you saw like two hot girls on Instagram rollerblading.
No,
like, oh,
it was
wow.
It was people that I really knew. I swear. But
Were they doing it ironically, I'm assuming?
They could have been. But I personally very much enjoyed my rollerblading hobby
I
when I
rollerbladed
was a
for a
kid.
little bit, but I was...
I think we all did at some point. So
it's one of those things you just do, and then you're like, oh,
like I shouldn't have done that.
I couldn't do the front flip, so I gave up. So that's a requirement.
Oh, let's talk about how high they can jump on rollerblades.
Just the intro alone, like the opening credit sequence just has Corey Haim just rollerblading around this park, just doing front flips and shit off of nothing. And yeah, like anytime there's they jump over cars.
Yeah, the jumping flat over a truck and landing. What are you talking about here? That's not.
But yet, when they're going at those high speeds and they approach someone with a gun that's attacking them, they just like barely shove them and they fall crashing to the ground.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What was
the physics?
What was that?
Make much sense.
I'm trying to remember the scene that we were.
Well, the first scene was when Corey Haim was leaving that party. And he was like, I'm getting out of here.
When the two crooked cops find him.
Right.
Yeah, he just kind of.
And he's blazing through that party and just.
He like taps them and they fall over themselves. I mean, hit that.
Watch it, pal.
Hey, whoa, sorry.
Just a light shove. That's all you need.
Right. Oh, but also I did have some trivia in regards to the rollerblading. Corey Haim, it said, actually did most of his own stunts in the film.
Yeah,
So
there was some that. Well,
did,
I'm impressed by that. If he was doing there was
the running up the stairs.
The running up the stairs was fantastic.
I lost my mind when I saw that. I was like, what the fuck?
Because she didn't think she looked as quickly, like she looked down for a second and then looked up. It's like, what the fuck? She thought that they were like rollerblading like up the stairs.
No. I thought they were running up the stairs, but I said, why the fuck would they? Why? Like, why? That's one of the weird things that I have with this movie is if you're trying to do all the things that they're doing, why is rollerblading the choice for the kind of physical things that you're going to do? Like, learn to fucking parkour or something like that.
Or
like,
I don't know. You guys have cars. Yeah. You bought a new van for next to nothing, and you can't buy a fucking car to do a drive by. I don't understand. Like when they roll up on the gang.
Okay.
And they're single file.
The rival gang, the B-13ers.
Yeah.
Which I don't know what it stands for. They never mention it. One of the infinite things that they just decide to not explain.
Yeah.
There's so much in this movie that they just like mention and they never talk about it.
Okay.
But so in regards to their formation, like they do it all over fucking town. It's not just like let's just like be in a line so that we're about to attack the B-13s. They think it's one person, then we'll fan out the last minute. They just go around town in this uniform, synchronized flying V with these fucking trench coats in whatever month it is in California. It's got to be hot as fuck, by the way.
It's a power move. It's a power move.
So check us out. We don't even care about the heat. We don't care about how dumb we look.
I was also largely confused by the currency system because Pinky says, to quote him, "Don't accept any dollars and don't be stopping to schmooze with a street poon."
Street poon.
And what are you supposed to accept then for money if you're not accepting dollars? I was very confused on how these people are paying for their pizza.
Again, parts of the exposition dump, like just sentences here and there. They kept talking about like the Great Crash, so I'm guessing the U.S. dollar is worth shit. Which they don't explain like what's like a good currency.
What's the new trading? Yeah, because people are exching dollars.
Yeah,
so I don't. You can see that they're English dollar.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie, like you were pointing out, when he pays him to do the cooking job and is like, "Here's your first paycheck" or whatever.
Here's your first week's salary. He literally just grabs
a random denomination of different kinds of currency in different
countries.
countries.
For sure,
but there's a dollar in
there.
There
are American dollars in there, but they're probably worth like.
I remember
it was a
they
single.
don't use coins anymore. That's like worth a cent now.
Yeah. It must be. Yeah, like because this weird world also has was it China is buying up or Japan is buying up universities.
Germany bought Poland.
Yeah, Germany bought the country of Poland.
Yeah.
And they're like buying up universities and literally relocating the whole building brick by brick.
To
another country.
I just found that so ridiculous. I'm sorry. When I saw that I was like,
because it is. It's silly.
And do they ever really expand at the end of this movie on like how they're going? And I might have missed this. Maybe I had gotten too drunk by the end of the movie because sometimes that happens. But they show the camps like one time in the beginning of the movie where he feeds the girl the pizza.
Yeah.
Do they ever go back to it? Did they ever liberate these people from these fucking horrible camps? Did they do anything to help them? No, nothing? Oh, okay.
No.
All right, cool.
They just stopped.
They
did
just
a drug bust.
Hey, you know what?
So this horrible problem
we're
started
taking care
in
of
these homeless
ourselves
camps.
and we're getting us the fuck out of here. Yeah, which they should have
it's
more.
It's never resolved.
Because they have they have a very personal connection to it because they talk about how they were in the camp. Like Gary Lee and Griffin Ramrod, they keep talking about how they came up together in the camps as kids. So like, but now there's like, well, I'm not in it now. We have this sweet RV. Let's just get the fuck out of here and let everyone deal with their own shit.
Oh, yeah. And as they're driving away into the sunset, they're making out as they're driving, which is just wildly unsafe. I was also
driving in the center of the road. He was he was on the line.
And everyone's just like, oh.
It's so fun. It's like, watch the road. You're going to die. You just got out of this.
Was that ending supposed to be as stupid as it was?
No, I don't think any of this movie was... Again,
because the guy just owned the prison system.
I didn't think the movie was as bad as I thought it was going to be. Just saying that.
That's
flat
fair.
out.
But again, it was definitely not Clockwork Orange meets Blade Runner via Lord of the Flies.
Well, very few things are. So
the slow-mo at 24 frames per second maybe gave me a brain tumor as well.
Oh, yeah, just
that shit drove me
fucking
nuts.
slow-mo.
Why? Just don't do it. Just
don't.
Do it. There's no reason.
Well, here's the thing, too. All right, I'll bring this other piece of information. Like, they had the money that they could have had something better. The budget, which took me a while to find. I don't even remember where I found this, but it said the budget was $2.4 million.
What?
For, what?
You need to buy 10 pairs of rollerblades.
Arguably, like, what, 4 locations in this entire movie? But no, well, the rollerblades, yeah, that's cheap. But I did have another piece of trivia. They did, however, this is probably where most of the budget went. Apparently, they used... They rotated out 78 black shirts because all of the Rollerboys uniforms were getting super sweaty during filming.
Yeah, no shit. Who didn't think of that?
A fucking idiot, apparently.
Another thing that bothered me, how many fucking TVs do homeless people need in the middle of the street?
Oh, yeah. I saw
Playing
that too.
The same channel, which was static.
Yeah.
So whatever drugs they were taking... Send me.
I say, piggybacking off of that, how much is mist? Mist being the drug that the Rollerboys manufacture and sell to sterilize, lesser thans. Because that's another thing. They're very adamant about Rollerboys sell the drug, but they don't take it because they don't want to be sterile because they think they're the pure.
Oh, Chris, I can tell you how much mist is. It's a random amount of U.S. currency that
mixed in with
worthless because
U.S.
currency is apparently worthless, so it's fucking free. It's free drugs that they're making money off of. This is how they make money. I don't really understand their business concept.
Yeah, they make so much fucking money off this, which is another weird thing where Gary Lee talks about how he started the Rollerboys and setting up this business and like building his empire in the camps. So, which I don't understand how you can do that if you're homeless in a weird, basically a concentration camp with other like orphans. Because again, no one has parents in this movie, which is super weird. But oh shit, fuck, what was my point? But yeah, so he started this whole business there, and he's still a teenager, or maybe 20, 21 years old, and they have enough fucking money that. They've got he bought fucking what was it, like Navy battleships.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The giant cruise. Or not cruises, but
I know what you're saying. But that they can do that. They buy the naval ships. They have that whole factory to make all the shit. They've got he can just at the drop of a hat be like, oh, here's a new fucking RV, he bought him the RV, but he brought Corey Haim the RV, but he replaced the Pinky van with a new van as well. So they're just just doling out
they don't
shit.
give a fuck.
They're like, oh, hey, and also as we meet him at their little compound where he's like stroking an iguana, which you were like,
I was like, is that
it alive?
Yes.
I was trying to figure out if it was supposed to be real, and he's like, it is real, and I was like,
yeah, it's like, look at it.
I don't know.
Iguanas generally don't move.
It was
too much. It's
scary.
A well-trained iguana.
I know they chill, but
he was
pretty
pretty fucking chill.
A little too chill.
He's misted out.
Yeah, for real.
Well, when I did my own research on Wikipedia, it says that Gary Lee, and I don't remember this ever being mentioned in the movie, so maybe I missed something, but it says that he is a great-grandson or grandson of Adolf Hitler.
They never mentioned that.
They never mentioned that
in
the
movie.
Wikipedia? It's in the Wikipedia. Yeah, it's in the synopsis of the movie.
Wow. I got to check that out. They never mentioned
it. I changed the Wikipedia page. So I probably should have mentioned that.
Well, there it is.
Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, that's so fucking weird. That maybe the Germany buying Poland thing, maybe he owned Germany then.
Maybe, and we discussed this before, maybe there were some elements of this movie that were cut
in
recent years. There was more blatant racism and anti-Semitism that was...
Oh, that's possible.
Yeah, there was a couple things. I think there was a scene that was like really weird. It was really fast and it looked like really chopped up. I forgot what scene it was, but there was a scene that was like real fast moving and really chopped up that I was like, I feel like there's a lot more. Oh, it was the end of the scene where they're beating up Speedbag.
Yeah, it was that.
It ends really weird, and it's just a lot of quick cuts, and then it's gone. So I think like I swear, because that was one moment where I was like, I swear someone in this scene had to have dropped. There had to have been a couple N-words dropped in the original script. And then they're like, let's save it.
Oh, there were some dubs in there. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a handful of dubs. Again, the weird slow-mo. Yeah, that was it. So so I'm guessing there's probably like a sub story or just a handful of lines thrown out about the great grandson or great grandson, whatever it was, of of Hitler for
I
Gary
don't
Lee.
remember, I don't remember which.
I'm wondering if they maybe cut that out, thinking like that'd be too on the nose. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to give the racism away too early.
Yeah.
It was pretty obvious.
But because they do say final solution a couple times in the movie too.
One redeeming quality of this movie, they had one Nine Inch Nails song.
They
Yes.
did, which I was telling her.
I was shocked to hear it.
Blown away.
When
It started and I was like, this can't be the song that I think
it sure
is.
fucking is, because I think let's see, if it came out in 91, so like I was probably like 9 or 10 when I saw this movie, and that's probably the first time I heard that song.
Yeah.
So anytime I hear Head Like a Hole, I just immediately think of this movie. Yeah. So with the cult rally too, I made a little note because they have a lot of like talk and symbolism about dragons, which is a very like notoriously Asian thing, which is a weird thing to try to co-opt as like when you're so racist.
I was just
I was expecting more like German symbolism.
It was like, he is the fire of the dragon, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Well, even their logo, I think, is like a cross with a dragon wrapping around
At
it.
first I thought it was a snake, but
Is it a snake?
No,
I
I don't
don't know.
know. We'll have
Some
to,
sort
I
of
feel like
serpent.
you're right. It's probably a dragon snake.
Who knows, man?
Another redeeming quality, there was a dick stab, so that was nice, and that really sold it for me as well. What else did I even have? Oh, this was maybe a highlight of the movie for me. At the end, the final chase scene, Corey Haim hits Gary Lee with a 619 around a stripper pole, and that shit was fucking phenomenal. I was like, did he really hit him with that shit right now? Oh my god!
It's like how did you not see that coming?
I was like, you see his hands? Oh, he's gonna spin. Like,
He's definitely gonna spin, and okay.
I couldn't.
But again, anytime you're on rollerblades,
Yep.
and there's any physical contact with another person, it's just the most extreme version of that physical contact.
Rollerblades
why they
are
were
heavy,
created.
so yeah.
That's true. Rollerblades are heavy. Just a quick sidebar about this, like, why does sepia equal dystopia?
I don't know. Yeah, what's up with that? Is it just like
Because they didn't mention any kind. It's only when they're in is California in the future just gonna literally just be
Desert.
draped in dust.
It's gonna be desert like.
It's just everything's sepia. The only time
the wildfires here?
Yeah.
I mean,
something like that.
in that regards, you're right.
But yeah, there's something about it that just makes people. I think Blade Runner did it with. Well, no, not Blade. That was the new one that was like that. Never mind.
I think there's a few scenes in the new one that are like, but I didn't see it. I saw clips.
Whenever they show anything apocalyptic, it's always on the West Coast, and it's always kind of deserty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you fucking put that shit underwater.
Like, look at
Like,
Mad
what the-
Max. Look at any of that shit. Like any of it.
Yeah, maybe it was Mad Max that did it. Maybe
Yeah.
Yeah, Mad Max for sure.
It also bothered me a lot that the cops the good cops set up Corey Haim
the good
with
cop.
the bad cops. Yeah.
There's one good cop who. How do they know each other? Like, do they
No,
explain that?
not really.
There was some
'Cause
father-son relationship between them, but
yeah,
it was
he seems like a real like father figure, but like I don't know, but they don't talk about how he knows him because Corey Haim's character does mention how his parents only died a year before
okay.
in like
Yeah.
a car wreck, which
Yeah.
is I think the only
only
one
mention.
where they mentioned that how someone's parents died.
When he's in there and he's just going through this whole exposition that should have been in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
he just mentions it just yeah. And like
Yeah.
everything else just is mentioned offhandedly in
Oh,
some
we
random
forgot to tell
scene.
people what happened.
Yeah,
so.
like now. Like, oh yeah, you know my parents died in that wreck last year. Okay, and we're done. Moving on.
Yeah.
That's all you needed. But okay, sorry. I think I cut you off though.
No, I don't think so. I
No?
don't think I had anything else. Yeah, okay. So the good cops set up Corey Haim with the bad cops so that he could set up the bad cops later in the movie on the biggest drug bust of all time so that they could end the biggest criminal organization that's ever existed in America. And they're just like, yeah, but we could risk it by putting these crooked cops in there there's zero reason for them to be on the case. Like, I don't understand. You caught them at the scene in the beginning of the movie, the scene of the crime outside of the original Mist house. Where
Well, they didn't catch them there. I don't think.
the cops were on scene, right?
Yeah. Well, no, they weren't on scene. They showed up. They did show up later, but which is weird that like they're not wearing any kind of like disguise. Yeah. But again, as you mentioned earlier, they're so forgettable that you don't even remember that's them
who it is. Yeah.
when you see them 80 other times in the movie, which I think was what they were going for. They're like,
I guess because
which also were they supposed to be comic relief?
Yeah, 100%.
Because
and it was so uncomfortable seeing them force that relationship because I just could not stand. There was no chemistry between them whatsoever. It was like it seemed like literally
the one
they weren't
guy
in the
looks
room
like
with each
he's
other.
like 60.
Yeah. Oh, the white guy.
Yeah, the white guy looks like this way old.
Yeah,
it's like when you watch an old Disney movie and they have the little henchman for whatever villain it is, and they're like, but it was even less likable than that. It was They were.
I didn't understand them being.
Yeah, I was
anywhere.
waiting. I was excited because I'm like, oh,
what are the casting?
It's the two cops that are gonna be fun and not be annoying as fuck the whole movie, and then they blew it.
We're gonna it's real serious topics. We got some we got some racism. We got some.
I thought it was gonna be
genocidal
the old
shit.
fucks chuckling in the back.
Yeah,
Instead, it was like separate shots of them in a van where I don't think they were even in the van at the same time when they were filming.
No.
Because it seemed
Almost
like so chopped between the fucking dialogue that I was it was like uncomfortable as fuck. Like, this is not how people have a conversation.
They probably just let them riff and then just we'll just edit it together somehow.
Yeah, betting on whether
betting on how these teenagers
Patricia
are gonna
Arquette
fuck.
commits a fucking felony.
Basically.
I also really enjoyed the second time Corey Haim runs into Patricia Arquette.
Yes.
She goes, do you remember me? And then he stares at her tits and then goes, how could I forget? And I'm like, you fucking dog, dude.
Well, yeah, he also, because when she's still undercover and doesn't out herself as a cop, is trying to buy mist from him because she thinks that he's thinks the roller boy.
Are you going to talk about the same thing that I'm about to talk about?
Yes, at the party where she catches him at Gary Lee's, I'm assuming, birthday celebration, unless it's just what he does every day. Because
he's the Gatsby of that era.
He's Gatsby on rollerblades.
Get speed.
I'd watch that movie.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she catches Griffin outside and still thinks he's a roller boy. He's gonna sell her mist. So he starts just like, I got. He's like, do you have any? He's like, yeah, I got some. Just starts making out with her, and then just takes her panties off. Mm-hmm. Just throws them at her and be like, you'll do anything for it, won't you? And like, you could have. Why that? Why
there was no reason.
There's no reason for that.
Extremely gross.
It was
extremely gross to me.
Yeah. Also, she had a giant fake mole on her face for some
reason. I said, was that there before? Is this part of the costume? And he was like, it's part of the costume. I was like, ugh.
Why?
Yeah,
why is that part of the costume?
Yeah.
I'm not mole shaming anybody. Just for the record, I
got moles on my face.
I do too. I had one right here. You weren't there.
It's part of life.
Yeah.
But I'd prefer it if I didn't. So fucking don't put them on your face.
But it wasn't. It was this.
That's cultural appropriation. I don't appreciate it. Like, just fuck off. This is Polish.
As a mold American.
Yeah, for real.
No, but what costume was it that required that? Like, what was the costume that required that fucking mole?
I have no idea.
But also, I think it's hilarious.
She was kind of like a flapper, but I don't know if people in the 20s and 30s had more moles.
The 20s had moles all over. Big thing.
I guess it was a trend.
But I also think what I also think is hilarious is that this is at least the second or third time we'd seen her in the movie, and you had to ask me, like, did she have that the whole time?
Because it was so ridiculous looking.
It looked silly.
Huge.
It looked like they took oil or grease and then just
and it looks like it was kind of smeared too. Like now that you mention it, which kind of made it look like it had like big hairs coming up. I don't know. It was.
That's why I thought it was funny.
Very
like
distracting.
I think you would have noticed it earlier in the movie.
Well, I honestly didn't think that anybody would put that on their face on purpose. Who would do that? That's why it didn't make sense to me.
She did. She's not great at being undercover, apparently.
Oh, she's very good at it.
I mean,
cowgirl outfit.
You're right. She can hide. She can hide in plain sight with the.
Yeah. Hey, y'all! I'm the sheriff, but she's not.
She's not.
But she was.
This is true. I will say before we wrap this up, one of the things at the end because I saw this young. I saw this probably like right when it was released to video because I'm stupid. They end the movie. Gary Lee's arrested. He's locked up. He's in jail. He apparently, because he's billionaire, trillionaire, who fucking knows how much money this guy has. He's in like the swankiest jail cell where he's in his like white suit, has his attorney with him while he's putting graffiti. Well, he's putting graffiti all over the fucking walls of this jail cell.
No, he wasn't. He had a mural artist come in because And then that's his contribution.
Yeah, like they were like, oh, let's make it look
Obviously,
real.
he had done multiple takes in that spot.
Yeah, multiple takes. So he just had like 2 spots on one hat that looked terrible. Yeah. Meanwhile, there's a mural on the whole thing. And again, wearing a white suit and doesn't have a spot on it.
Yeah, that's nice.
So whatever. But he's wearing this like white suit. Attorney there, graffitiing the thing, talking about like still trying to like his like investments and such, and we cut back and forth between that and the group of them just like leaving in the RV to Oregon, and he starts talking about wanting to expand his investments in the Pacific Northwest. And Attorney's like, why? Like, oh, because that's where they're going. Sets it up completely for a fucking sequel, which as a child I was like, fuck yeah, there's gonna be another one of these.
Hell yeah.
I don't know anything. I don't have any concept of the overarching like serious themes of this movie, but I really want to see another one of these, and then it never happened.
Well, I have a speculative question for you.
Yes.
Do you think that there wasn't a sequel because rollerblading wasn't cool anymore?
That
or
is a
because
great
the first movie wasn't cool enough?
That's a great question. And both.
Both.
Yes, across the board.
Do you think they could have changed their gang to be like
biker? Well, you can't. Biker gang would be almost cool.
Almost.
Skateboarding boys.
Roller
crew.
Skates rather than roller blades is like they got the 4 fucking.
That would work now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Roller skates are the past, man. That's your dad's means of foot transportation.
Now the world is frozen over into an icy wasteland, and they're ice skaters.
Oh, I like that idea.
See, we could pitch that now, but then it's
the Northwest. It gets cold, right?
Pacific Northwest gets cold. This could be 100 years in the future from that, because clearly Corey Haim, rest in peace, is not around, so we can't have him in the movie. So you can just make it with like whole new characters in the same universe.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna write this story.
Yeah.
And we will pitch this to. I don't remember who made this movie, but we'll find the.
Yeah, we'll pitch it as like a.
It's like Frozen 3.
It's like Get Out mixed with Frozen mixed with Clockwork Orange mixed with like.
So what else do you guys like? Yeah. It's like that too.
What's popular?
Who had the best hairstyle in the movie?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Gary Lee.
Yeah.
Gary Lee.
When you say
I'm going with Corey
best,
Haim.
I was gonna say Corey Haim too, because I'm like,
Corey Haim. By the way, I've not called him by his actual character name the entire time that we've been talking about this.
Ramrod.
He's been Corey Haim the whole time.
Griffin Ramrod.
Yeah. Well, when I saw Corey Haim's hair, I was like, maybe I should cut my hair. I was like, this shit looks.
I'm not gonna lie, because I haven't had my hair cut in a long time too. I was like, you know what?
It was just an interesting
and then I was
choice.
like, I'm just not as good looking as Corey Haim. Corey Haim's fucking beautiful, man.
Same. I was like, I got too much going on right here, right now. I can't pass that off. Let's also about he looks
15.
Oh, first of all, yeah, he looks 15 because I have to look at I'm not sure what drugs he was on at the time of this, but I mean I know that Corey Haim and Corey Feldman were very unfortunately, addicted to heroin by the time they were 15 years old or something like that.
That's so sad.
Which is a bummer. But he's clearly on a whole lot of something because that motherfucker is rail thin. I didn't even look up how old he was. He had to have been in his 20s at the time. This man looks skeletal.
Yeah,
in this movie.
That's what made him look so young.
It's why
he did look really young.
Yeah,
but he still had a youthful face, kind of just a nice young looking face. He didn't look like gaunt or
Well, he kind of always did with that. Even when he got older, he was a little bit worse. But
he was always a good looking guy.
Yeah, you could still see he was a good looking, youthful, in the face-ish type dude. But yeah, he was skinny.
Yeah, he was.
I don't know. Well, you guys have any other bits to talk about the movie itself?
I don't think I do.
Melty was my least favorite character.
I think he was everybody's least favorite character.
Yeah, I don't think he contributed to the movie whatsoever.
No, none. All right. Well, if that's that, then that's going to bring us to final grades. Who wants to go first? What are we grading this movie? A through F? Well,
it depends on what scale you want to put this on. Are you talking about actual good movie content, or are you talking about bad movie content?
Oh, we're talking about it as a movie. If Milty turned this movie in for his report, how would you grade it? What did we drop?
I would fail him automatically because I can't fucking stand him. But I mean, honestly, objectively,
it's a means of trying to keep your job by not doing that.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a C. I don't think it's as bad as people say that it was. I think that they could have made better choices in a lot of things. I think a lot of it was very silly and cheesy, but I think that was kind of appropriate for what the content was. I don't think it was as bad as everyone's saying, and I feel like it didn't age well necessarily, but I do feel like a lot of stuff is very topical as to what's going on today, which is kind of strange to see.
I did write that down too.
I really enjoyed Patricia Arquette's wardrobe to an insane degree. I thought those choices were risky and they were stylish and wonderful. I appreciated the commitment to the outfits of the rollerbladers. I don't know. I enjoyed it in a non-ironic way in some points. I think there were moments of sentimentality that could be argued for. But it was still fucking lame and sucked a little bit. And so, yeah, C from me.
Solid C.
Well, so Gary Lee gets an A+ from me because he portrayed this psychopath, something in his eyes.
But he maintained the respect with everyone else that they would always address him by his first two names.
There was something about him that I was like, this guy was made for this role. Patricia Arquette, B+. She did fine. She just didn't have that much actual value to the movie, I felt. Because of the writing, not because of her as a person. Corey Haim, probably like a B, B-. You know, he did fine. I feel like he maybe could have been filled in by somebody else and it would have been fine. It was not a big deal to me. Milty? Or Milky?
Milty.
Milty.
Or Melty.
Or Melty.
Was awful. I could not stand him throughout the entire film. Pinky was fantastic. I really wish they had more of him in there.
We would just pitch a Pinky spinoff.
Yeah, honestly.
That would have been,
Pinky's Pizza would be, I would watch the show. It's basically Bob's Burgers, but with Pinky. A live action Bob's Burgers.
I would be so into that. That's a great idea.
And so I would give the movie probably like a Series C+, but because they dropped an N-bomb for no reason whatsoever, and it made me uncomfortable.
And it was in case you didn't realize that they were racist.
Yeah, in case
as if you weren't paying attention to anything.
In case you feel like you should be on the rollerbladers side right now, here's an N-bomb to make sure you know what to be on.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go,
in case you're unsure who the bad guys are.
Yeah.
Here's an N-word.
No, but you can give your answer first. I was just going to ask you something after.
No, go ahead and ask first. I want to know where you was at.
Fine. It's mainly a question for you since you've seen this before.
Yes.
You said this is supposed to be a very serious movie, and I understand that Lord of the Flies has an appeal that goes way beyond the age of what you read it at when you're in school.
Yeah,
but
a lot of places.
What is the audience for this movie where they needed to drop that hard R? There's no.
It felt like
it is rated R. I think. By the way,
I didn't know that. So
yes.
But still,
it felt like. If I was in a white supremacist cult, I would watch this movie and enjoy it. Like I would be like,
like you'd watch the same way that you'd watch the first half of American History X and then turn it off and be like, "What a masterpiece!"
Yeah, I was like, and it made me upset. I didn't like that I enjoyed some of the rollerblader characters. Like I wanted to like them less, which I understand it's important that characters are complicated and things like that, but they weren't. There wasn't enough depth to the characters that they were complicated enough that I should have been conflicted about my feelings towards who was the good and bad guys in this situation. I'm going C- on this movie because I didn't care for the good guys. I just really didn't. I liked the racist, misogynist assholes more than I liked the people I was supposed to be rooting for.
They were more likable, which is
they were better actors.
I think I really think that was the issue.
They really were.
The casting for the good characters were just not.
Well, think about this. Like, what kind of backstory did we really get on the main character, the good guys, the main characters? We didn't get anything. They have like all this lore.
On, like, anybody.
But with these like cult people, we get all this lore and like, they're trying to build this empire and they're doing all these things. They have a purpose.
They have parents dying. They talk about the tragedies of
they're giving back to the community. There's they're doing like the
they're almost good guys.
Yeah, they do like
our protagonist has no backstory or any kind of motivation.
Like the Rollerboys have like their mobile soup kitchen.
They're giving out free food to people and shit.
To some people. To some people.
Yeah. To people with a certain complexion.
Yeah.
Certain complexion
in certain segregated neighborhoods.
Because they're the only people actually doing anything for the community. It sucks that they were only doing it for the white community. And it's just like, God, it's just like... It's just such a frustrating line that they were on.
Yeah, and like they don't, like they like you understand, like they're also drug dealers selling this super addictive new drug for, again, whatever amount of money that every homeless person can afford apparently. and you do find out that it's it's a sterilization program, whatever. It's their little modern Fourth Reich eugenics program, whatever. But like I feel like they don't even like touch on that as much as anything else. So that you kind of forget it at a certain point. It's like, they deal drugs. I mean, they got to make their money somehow. How are they going to feed how are they going to give all the free food?
Yeah. Also, also, why do people not live in homes? Where are the homes?
See, they kind of. Yeah, I feel like most of it. I mentioned this to her the other night too. Is I feel that most of the explanation and exposition on this movie is a lot of like they leave it into like you know what we mean, like just
yeah, I know what you
it's
mean.
A lot of like inferring.
People lost a lot of money, but
yeah, it's a
brick
lot of
is still brick. Like there was it's not like they mentioned like a big earthquake that took out all the buildings and now
it's just everyone got poor. Like okay, so then why isn't anyone squatting in all these houses that are there's
I didn't
a lot
really see houses either. Like I didn't see them in the movie.
No, that's true. The only time I really saw a house was when it was the Mist house where Griffin backed the fucking
the truck,
the van up into the thing rescuing Bullwinkle.
And that didn't even really look like a house. It looked like a little temple, like just a structure kind of thing. I don't even know.
I already had it made up in my mind. I'm just a solid C, because again I also just nostalgia gets me on this fucking movie because I've seen it so many times from as a youth. But yeah, it's a ute. It's got I feel like again, this is another thing where I think like it could have been a really great movie, and I think some people wanted it to be, but it just fell short a lot of the time. Again, just no explanation. Say again?
I said Bullwinkle wanted it to be a good movie.
Bullwinkle definitely tried to make it a good movie. He did most.
These motherfuckers can suck, but I'm gonna be the greatest out here.
He is the greatest. He was the greatest actor in the whole thing. He's the only one.
Somebody should check on that guy.
We should check on that guy because again, like
call him up.
Yeah, call him up. Have him talk about the movie. Yeah. Because he's the only one that I think it was like I believed him every step in the way. I did. I legitimately. I want to research this man as a person to find out if he's that guy or not, because I feel like he's that guy. That's how convincing he was. But yeah, solid C. I feel like it had a lot of good good ideas that I just think were poorly executed. Nothing got explained in this entire movie. Like if they turn this, if they had like a team of good writers and turn this into like like a mini series or something, like for HBO Max or Netflix or some shit, like I think this could be like they can make it really cool. The rollerblading though probably won't work. You might have to take that out.
You have to nail down some kind of actual timeline. Whoop! Sorry.
Also, give me a reason they can't drive cars.
Like
make the roads
some of
fucked
them
up.
do. They do
make
like
the roads
once in a
fucked
while.
up.
Well, then you can't rollerblade on it either if the roads are fucked up.
They literally could
That's
have.
true.
They could have given most of the explanation of this movie if they just said there was an earthquake that took all the buildings down and fucked up the roads, so people don't drive. But then you can't even rollerblade because the roads
I like
are
your
fucked up.
ice idea. I think everything should just be covered in ice. You can't drive on the ice, so it should have been ice skates.
All right, well, I think that about wraps it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you watched over at Circle/TV on YouTube, thank you for listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Feel free to follow us at D-Podcast on Instagram, as well as at Circle/TV on Instagram. You can check us out at d-podcast.com. Leave us a comment, direct message, etc. if we didn't get to something that you wanted to hear about, or if you have any other opinions about this movie that we didn't explore. Let us know. Thanks a lot. Get ready for your homework for next week, next Friday. We appreciate you. Thank you very much, and have a lovely fucking whatever.